Okay, we'll start with who you are, introduction, and also what your life looks like today.
My name is Cushla. I am mum of two babies. My daughter's 6 and my son's 3. And as I'm going to get into, I'm all about just living my life freely now that I can. Rebuilt my life from scratch 6 months ago, and I'm just living my life, being free, glowing.
Glowing, thriving.
Yes, and just being free. I love it.
Yeah. And what makes you want to share your story on CWK today?
I just want to help others. I do. I want them to know that this type of behaviour is not okay, and the moment they start showing the first signs of abuse and abusiveness, run, baby girl.
Yeah.
Don't put up with it like I did. Well, it's like, yeah, you might not make it out. I was lucky to make it out.
Yeah.
And I want to share my story so that when my daughter's old enough, she can look back at it and know that her mum's not a victim, she's a survivor. And I made it out for my babies. And so we can reap the benefits and live a happy life like we're living today.
Yes.
Free and happy.
And where does your journey through domestic violence begin?
Growing up, I witnessed it a lot. It felt normal as a kid, even though it wasn't. And then
In what way did it feel normal?
it happened everywhere we went. Everywhere we went, always seeing the violence and stuff, especially being Māori. Like, it's just so normalised. Like, once we're warriors, definitely normalised. And it's not okay. We need to break the cycle now. It's like a generational curse. And we just need to break it, and it's not okay. It's definitely not okay.
Yeah. So you witnessed it a lot as a child?
Yeah, I did.
And then what?
And then I fell in love. My baby daddy, we were too young when we had kids, way too young. It was toxic. We were young and it didn't work out because we were too young. But we're okay. We're good parents. We're good co-parents. Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about this. I've only ever been in love 2 times. After I split with my baby daddy, I was by myself, me and my kids, for about 5 years. 5 years I was a solo parent, loving it. And then I fell in love. It started off as a long distance relationship. I was living in Auckland, he was living down the line. And I really fell for him. I hadn't even met him and I really fell for him. We just had this connection. We would stay up all night talking on the phone, and then we'd even stay up all day talking on the phone. Like, our phone calls, we found out that the maximum time we could talk for was 4 hours and 13 minutes before it cut out, and then he'll ring straight back because we knew, and he was unlimited calling or whatever. But it felt great at the beginning. It definitely felt good. I thought I finally found someone real and genuine. He was definitely different from what I usually go for. Definitely different. He seemed different. And then we were in a long distance relationship all through lockdown for about 6 months. And in that whole 6 months, I kept trying to see him. Like, can I come see you, or can you come and see me? I know we're 6 hours apart, but can I come see you? Like, this is shit. We're in the same country, in the same island. But he never would. He never would let me. And then I kept trying to make him move up here, or even offering to move down there so we could be together. And it wasn't really an option for both of us. Or for mainly him. I was willing to do anything. So I met him halfway and asked him, well, what other city do you want to live in? And he said Napier. So I got us a house in Napier, and I gave up my house in Auckland and gave up all my furniture, sold everything, and moved down to Napier with the hopes of starting a brand new life with this person that I loved. And I didn't realise at the time the sacrifices I was making. My daughter had just started school, and she loved her school, and she had only just turned 5 and started school, and I gave it all up I just sacrificed it all because I was in love. And I just wanted to just live a little, I guess. Try. I've never been loved properly. And I just wanted to try. So, yeah, I gave everything up and moved down to Napier. Luckily, their house was fully furnished. And we tried things. He finally came, and then we tried things down there. And it was alright at the beginning, I guess.
What do you mean, you guess?
Well, the second day he was there, I was cooking dinner, and I played a song. And he all of a sudden got mad and was like, "Oh, I'm going to go home now. I'm not going to stay in Napier anymore." And I'm like, "Why? What's wrong?" And he's like, "Well, I'm an artist. I make music, and I don't like you listening to other people's music. I don't like you listening to music. Like, you can only listen to mine." And I'm like, what the fuck? Music's always been my life. Like, I play that shit when I clean. I play it when I shower. Like, music's everything to me.
Yeah.
And after that, like, I thought, like, okay, I'll sacrifice my music just to keep you happy.
Yeah, that's
As
fucked.
stupid as that. And that was probably the most first time to run. Especially trying to control my music. Like,
The fuck?
but I let him. Yeah, that was me. I allowed that because I was in love. And we were alright. We were alright for the beginning, and then things started getting a little bit ugly. I started getting really toxic myself. Like, in our arguments and stuff, it wasn't okay. And my babies had to put up with it, and I didn't realise how bad it was until when my mum called once, and she was talking to my daughter. And all of a sudden he got mad, and I went into the room and we started arguing. And my daughter, I didn't realise, but my mum told me afterwards that my daughter actually broke down to her and said, "Mum, they're fighting. Oh, Nan, they're fighting. I'm scared. I don't want to be here, Nan. Can I come live with you?" And then my mum just started flipping, absolutely flipping. And from that day onwards, he hated my mum. He hated her, and because I loved him so much, I cut her off just to please him. And it was hell. Me and my mum are so close, so close. We always have been. She's been my best friend since the day I can remember. And that was hard, having to cut my mum off, because she just wouldn't allow it. She was like, "Why the fuck is he doing this to you? Why are you allowing this? My muckles are upset. They're not used to this." All our life, I've always had my own house. It's just been me and my babies. But until he came into the picture, we shared our space with him, and that was the first sign of my babies being unhappy. He really made a connection with my son, though. My son really loved him. Because my son's never had that male influence, really. His dad's there, but not there, like...
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it just started getting really horrible. The fights started getting worse and worse. The first time the police were called, that was horrible. I've never had the police come over to any of my houses before. But for them to come because we're arguing, like, that's horrible.
Did you call them or him?
The neighbours.
Oh,
Yeah. And that was a wake-up call, but I just kept allowing it. And then another time, it got really bad, the fight, and so bad. So I actually got given my bond back for my house in Auckland when I was living in Napier, and he told me, "Put it in my account, I'll put it into our savings, I promise it's going to be okay." And then one time I asked him, like, "Oh, can I have a look at our savings, or can we put it into my account? I've got this savings account that I can't touch and all that, just so I know it's okay." And he's like, "Oh, it's gone. I spent it all." And I'm like, "Excuse me? I'm the one paying all the bills. I'm the one buying all the food. Like, what did you spend it on?" The fuck? And he's just like adamant, like, "I'm not giving it back, it's gone." And I'm like, "But I'm like, what the?" I couldn't understand. Like, that was no. But he never once, he's just like, "Nah, it's gone." And he just laughed, like, "You're not getting it back." And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then that was another sign that I should have ran, when he started controlling the money, especially the savings.
Yeah.
That was like a kick in the guts for me. And the police got called numerous times to Napier because we were just bad. We were just fighting. Like, we did have good times, don't get me wrong. We had some amazing times. But now that I look back at it, all that negativity just outweighed it all.
Outweighed it, yeah.
I was just blinded by the illusion of love, that I couldn't see it. until I stepped away, and now I look back and I'm like, how the fuck did you put up with that shit, girl? You're an independent bitch. You don't need no man. Especially one that ain't even bringing anything to the table.
Yeah, hard.
Oh. And then I remember this one time, I just told the police, just take him, like, don't take him, like, no. Can you tell him to leave? Just tell him to leave. He's got all this shit, I just want him gone. And then when he left, I really broke down to one of the police officers, and I told him, like, I haven't spoken to my mum in months. And he's like, you know, you really need your mum right now. You're all alone in the city. I don't know anyone in Napier. No one. And he gave me a top up. So he went and brought me a top up and dropped it off so I could ring my mum.
The policeman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he warned me. I remember his warning was, don't go back. I seen how he treated you, and just don't go back. Please. Like, next time it could be worse. And so I went back to Tauranga to my mum's for a couple of weeks, and then came all the texts. I had blocked him on everything, and next minute I'm getting emails.
Oh, weird.
Like, that extent. And it was still me. I just gave in. I still loved him. Because when I love hard. I love with every little piece of me. And I just believed that he could change. He wasn't this nasty person. It's just when he's mad. And if I didn't make him mad, then he'll be okay and we could be happy. So I feel like I lost a lot of mana by staying with him and by going back. Because I got scared to stand up for myself. I got scared to disagree with him because I didn't want any dramas. I didn't want any of that shit that came with. I didn't want to provoke him or make him mad. And that's fucked. But one thing he always used to do was whenever I tried to bring up any little thing, he'll always flip it back on me. Every time. And I'll end up being the one apologising for being upset. Instead of just owning his stuff and owning his shit and, you know, apologising, saying, you know, this is what I'm going to do to change it, he's just like, nah, it's all your fault. And he'd do it in, like, such a way, I felt bad. And I'm like, what the fuck? But, yeah, I just recently found out that that's actually called gaslighting, manipulation. Yeah. And that's something that he is very, very good at. He's very intelligent, and he uses it to his advantage. And I guess he knew that he was more intelligent than me, so he would manipulate with me to the point where I'm like, what the fuck? Trying to like, hey, I thought I was on. I thought I knew what was happening. How the fuck am I in the wrong? But it happened every time without a doubt. And then the times when he did beat me and I did go back, because it happened a lot, about 3 times I literally left. He left to go back to his hometown, and I left to go back to my hometown. And then I still kept going back. We'll still meet. It was just toxic. And then the last time we had a big fight, I think he knew that I was well and truly done. Like, well and truly. And I had left, and I just didn't give a shit. I didn't talk to him for ages. Like, I just had enough. I was done. And then I also promised my babies that day that we wouldn't be going back. And I definitely broke that promise, and I'll never forgive myself. But he ended up coming back up to pick us up, and he had a proposal. His proposal was we move to his hometown. His auntie was willing to give us a house, and he wanted a chance to look after us and all that, and he just wanted a fresh start, a new beginning. And my stupid ass was like, maybe he is changing. Maybe this break did do him a little good. And yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, we'll give it a chance. Fine, sweet, I'll give up our house and we'll move to your home. And that was pretty much the biggest mistake I ever made. The biggest. Because what I did in that one move was give him all the control in the world. I gave up my car when I was with him in Napier because he said that I didn't need it anymore. He had to, and I don't need a car. Like, he's got me, he's got my kids, and that always worried me because I've always made sure no matter what, I've got my kids, me alone. I don't rely on anyone. And I know how hard it is to not have a car, so that was scary. And moving to Gisborne, I had absolutely no family, no vehicle, nothing, and he had all control. he had everything, and I'm so grateful for his family for letting us stay there and all that, definitely. But I wish we never went there. I wish I never went back. That day he picked us up, the last time, my daughter, she cried for like an hour straight, all the way. Like, she didn't want to leave. She was crying for her family. She just didn't want to leave. And here I am going, shush, baby, shush, shush, shush. Like, it's okay, it's going to be okay. And she's like, she was just over it. She's seen it all. She was old enough to know what was happening. And I remember telling her, like, it's okay, like, I promise it's gonna be okay. Mummy just wants to be happy. Mummy deserves to be happy. I promise, like, it's all gonna work out. And she's like, no, Mum, why do we have to go back to him? And because one thing that he did, one of the main things was I felt like I couldn't contact my family at all. Not only my mum, but my dad, he felt uncomfortable to ring. Like, he tried, but whenever he did, like, it was weird. It was ratchet. All he wanted to do was talk to my babies. And I cut all my friends off. I cut all my family off. I deactivated my social media. He had full access to my phone. I wasn't even allowed my freaking brother's contact on my phone. And he's like, nah, no mails. I was like, it's my brother. And he's like, oh, he knows how to contact you through your parents. I'm like, oh my God. It was very restricted, but it's my fault. I allowed it. I allowed it to happen. I allowed it to get to that point, and the more I allowed it to happen, the more he kept playing on it. And so many of my friends and family all knew something was wrong, because I've always been on social media, but in those months that I was with him, I was never on, ever. And I guess I just felt lost. I thought I was in love, and all the happy times, I thought it was normal. But deep down, I know it wasn't. He even complained about me watching Shortland Street, for fuck's sakes. He's like, oh no, you shouldn't watch Shortland Street. He controlled what I watched. He controlled what I listened to. He even tried to control what I ate. I had to ask him, oh, can I have KFC? And he's like, oh, no, you're not allowed KFC. I'm like, I love my food. What the fuck? But no, it just got to that point. But it's because I allowed it to happen that it did. Definitely. And it was bad. It was really bad. My family hated him. They hated it when we were together, but because of me, they didn't say anything, because they didn't want to lose me completely, because I'd already cut them off. They didn't want to lose me completely, and they were scared. They were petrified, and they were just so worried about me, and I feel so bad. Why did I do that to them? I love my family, but I was just in love. I was so in love, and once we moved to Gisborne, the abuse started happening quite more than
regularly.
And I remember one time we were having a drink with his cousins and that, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Why are you looking at my cousin for?" And I'm like, "I'm just chilling. I'm not even talking to him." And he's like, "Why are you looking at him for?" "You're looking at him." Like, "What, you want him?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then once they left and we went to bed, it was horrible. It turned into a massive fight, and all I remember was he had his hand over my mouth so hard that my teeth ended up cutting the inside of my cheek, and all I remember was spitting out blood, like, I'm bleeding, stop. And he's just like, still like in a rage, and it was horrible. And that night I asked him, can you please ring your mum? Like, I'm scared. Like, what the fuck? My whole face was swelling up, I was bleeding, and I was like, I can't take it. This is not normal. And then he rang and I was just screaming, "Come and help, please." And then when she came, she diffused the whole situation, and like, she knew what had happened. He even admitted, "Yeah, I did that, but you should have my back. You're my mum," like that. And she was like, "It's okay." And I'm like, fuck, it's my brother's 5th birthday tomorrow. I gotta go back to my hometown looking like this, and how the fuck am I supposed to tell my family? And she's like, "Oh, it's okay, tell them." And I'm like, if I told them, they'll show up here all guns blazing, and I don't want that. But that's all I was upset with. I was like, look what you fucking did. And then he just was real apologetic, real guilty, and because he knew I was going home, he was just so changed, like, "Don't leave me," sort of thing. And then, so I came back, I went home, I didn't tell my family anything. They didn't even really notice because I hid it so well. And I knew deep down it was wrong. Like, what the fuck am I putting up with? I can't even reach out and talk to my family because I know that they won't let me go back. But deep down, I want to. Like, I love him, and I believe that he didn't mean to. He didn't mean to do that. It just happened, and maybe I made him feel like he had to. Like, I started blaming myself, definitely. And like I said, I guess I just he stole my mana. He ripped it off me. I went from being this girl that took no shit to just a little pushover. Just oh yes babe, how many sugars do you want? Oh, okay, can I make a cup of tea now? Like, fuck that. What the hell was I thinking? Anyway, I remember our first big fight there, and I remember I remember it was a fucking disagreement over fuck all, and I was outside getting the washing, and he was just standing at the door screaming at me being a dick, and I looked at him, I was like, you are such a cunt, like, fuck this. At this time, my dad had given me a car to use, so I had a car, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going. I took all my washing off the line, and then went to go take it out to the car, and he came out, grabbed the whole washing basket, and just threw it all over the ground, and was like, fuck off, you're not going inside to get your keys, get the fuck off. And then he literally grabbed my two babies from inside and brought them outside and was like, go, get. And we had no shoes, no nothing. I couldn't. So all we did was just walk down the road crying. Oh, I was crying and trying to comfort my babies. I didn't know what to do. I had no whānau, nothing. And then he come and he kept driving past, like, get in the car. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to. I'm trying to figure out something. I don't want to get in the car, and then he kept coming, get in the car, so I did. Finally jumped in the car, and my kids were scared too, my daughter especially. And then he drove us out to the beach, and he's like, okay, we're not going anywhere until we get to the bottom of this. I just, you got to stop being angry with me and all this. And I'm like, I'm just hurt. Like, I gave up everything for you, just for you to throw me and my kids out on the street the moment I disagree with you. Really? And he's like, nah, you just got to calm down, step out of it. And I'm just done. I can't do this anymore. That's horrible. I was just hurt, and all I wanted was an apology. But now he was just being a dick, and he's like, oh, well, you're either gonna make things right now and stop being mad and get over yourself, or else you can fuck off. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you seriously doing this to me? We're down on the fucking beach. And he's like, yeah. And then he went to go start driving off down more into the beach, and I was like, no, can we just stop? Can we just stay here? Like, I don't want to go anywhere right now. I don't feel safe. And then that's when he was like, nah, get the fuck out. Then I was like, sweet. And I went to go get up, and then I went to go get my babies out of the car, and he goes, well, if you are you really doing this? Are you really doing this? And I just looked at him, I was like, I'm just hurt. I can't. Like, this is getting too much. And then I just took my babies out and went to go take them, and we just to go start walking down the road, and I didn't look back, and it was my baby girl that did. And she looked back and she goes, Mum, he's throwing our car seats out into the bush. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then he did a U-E and sped off, fuck you, don't ever come back to the house. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's just going on dark. I've got two babies walking down a fucking deserted road, and I gotta go get the car seats out of the bush. So by then I was in tears, and I went and got their car seats out, and it was when I was bringing them out of the bush, the first vehicle that went past, they stopped. And they're like, what's wrong, are you okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. He just threw my baby's car seats in the bush. Like, what the... He'd even, like, I was just a mess. And this beautiful girl, if you're watching, I just want to thank you. You were so beautiful that night. She just wrapped me up in her arms and told me and my babies to hop in her car, and rang her mum up for some advice, and her mum was just like, go get the Mackay, and then take them to the police station. And I was like, oh. And then she went and brought my babies a big kai and made sure we were okay, and then her mum met us at the police station, and it was so beautiful. I was like, oh, I was just amazed at how kind and caring they were. They really pulled me out of a dark place. and help me when I felt like no one else would. I felt so lost and alone. And then we went to the police station that night, and they told me that they will put me in a hotel for the weekend and help me arrange somewhere to go, somewhere else out of that town or something. And I had left everything at his house, even my car keys, everything, and I just gave the police a list to go get some of my belongings, and then they did. And one of the main things he wouldn't give to the police was my phone. And that's something he did a few times. He just wouldn't give it. He wouldn't give it. They were able to get everything else, and I know exactly where I left, and they're like, sorry, it's not here. There's nothing we can do. And I'm like, I just want to call my family. I just need someone to talk to. What the fuck? And then they put us in a hotel for the night, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I got woken up to knocking at the door. He had literally been around to every single freaking hotel, whatever in Gisborne looking for me, and he found me, and I was kind of scared. I was like, open the door, what the fuck, like, how the fuck did you just? And he's like, oh, this is my town, I can find you anywhere. And I was scared, and he's just like, come on, get the kids, we're going right now, we're leaving. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Like, but I just felt so powerless. I was like, okay, fine, we'll go. And then went back to his, and the police came looking for me the next day just to make sure everything was okay. And he knew that police officer personally, and I just had to reassure him, like, yes, it's okay, this was my choice and everything. But really deep down, I knew it wasn't my choice. I was just too scared to stand up for myself, and deep down I knew I still loved him. But it was wrong, and my kids they hated it, especially my daughter, especially. And I remember a few times that, because whenever we fought in Gisborne, he'll kick us out, and then I'll have no choice but to ring the police. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any family. I don't even have a car. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And I felt even guilty ringing them, because I'm not but when I did, like, they'd help me, and they did it once. They come and got all my stuff and as much as they could fit, and they took me and my babies to the police station, and we sat there for a few hours waiting for my dad to come get us. And I remember they kept saying, like, don't go back, please. We keep seeing on your profile, like, this has happened heaps, and you keep going back. Just stop going back, girl. He's not gonna fucking change. And I'm like, fuck. And by then my family, they just knew they couldn't stop me or stop anything. They just had to be there for me and just made sure that I knew that they still loved me, and that's what they did. They stuck by me all the way. Hated it. It killed them. It really did kill them, but they knew that I'll come back eventually. They knew. And then it all ended up leading up to him splitting my face open. As you can see, I don't know, it's a good job at makeup. Makeup is life these days. But if it wasn't for that fateful night, I think I probably wouldn't have even got out. Probably till I ended up in a coffin or something. It was just horrible.
What was that day like?
That was the day I've last ever seen his face. And November 14th to be exact. It started off as a beautiful day. We went for a big ride down the coast, and took us to go see where Whale Rider was made and that, and it was beautiful. I went and done us a big ass shopping, spent $400, just went all out buying heaps of kai and stuff. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have a barbecue tonight, gonna make us a yummy kai and heaps of salads and stuff. And it started off as a good day. And then the plan was for me and him to babysit one of his mum's macaws, and he was gonna sober drive them to a pub or something. And that was Kapai. We had a beautiful barbecue in there. He took them. Baby was amazing. And then he went to go pick them up. And just before he left, he's like, oh, babe, should we have a drink? And I was like, okay. Oh, because... Sorry, I've gone and skipped a little bit. Before... I had only been back for 2 weeks. The last fight, when the police took me and my kids to the police station, he called his mum. He's like, I'm going to tell my mum and my sisters, like, I'm going to tell them on you. And I'm like, fucking tell them. You're the one being an asshole. You tell them then. I did nothing wrong. And then he was, so she came over, and when she showed up, me and my babies were just, because we took off and we come back when the police were there, and I know it was safe. And when we got back to the house, she just come out and she was just ropeable. She was just like, how dare you? Look at all these cop cars. How embarrassing. You're just embarrassed. Like, she was just spinning. And he was just standing there smiling. And she was just spinning. And he was just hiding behind his mum like a little bitch. But she was just going crazy. Because all she knew was his side of the story. And that's all she even knew. She didn't even bother to ask me what happened. Well, as far as she's concerned, her son's right and everyone else is wrong. That's the reason why he's like that. But I remember that day I was grabbing all my stuff and the police were like helping me take it, and she came right up in my face and she was like, that's it, you're not grabbing any more shit, you can get the fuck out, we got things to do, if you're not going to get out I'll fucking throw you out. And I looked her straight in the eyes and I told her, go on then, I'm not fucking scared of you lady, do it. And she didn't. And he was standing over there, just didn't even give a fuck, and I was like, sweet. And then we packed our stuff and left, and then that's when she was saying, don't ever come back, and I said, I promise I won't. And then what do? I come back 2 weeks later. And for the whole 2 weeks that I was there, she refused to talk to me. She didn't live there, but she didn't live far. And she just, yeah. And I asked him like, what would have happened if me and your mum had a fight? What would have happened? What would you have done? And he goes, I would have broken it up. And I was like, okay, just so you know, it took a lot for me to take her shit that day. Like, fuck. How the fuck am I supposed to just take it? What am I supposed to do if she starts trying to throw me out? Like, hell no, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm not bad enough I let you push me around, let alone a female. Like, fuck that. I respect my elders completely and I'm grateful and all that for everything that she did for us, but I'm not going to put up with that shit. No way. Anyway, fast forward back into that day and babysitting, and that was the first time we spoke since that day, and we were fine. She was sweet, I was sweet, we were both being mature about it, but I kind of knew she didn't like me, but that was okay. And I wouldn't like me either after what, she's looking at it from her perspective. That's her baby, that's her son. Like, of course she wouldn't like this one that makes him like that, but really he did it. I'm not perfect, yes, I know that, but he's responsible for his own choices and actions. Definitely. I don't tell him to go do that shit. And that night was sweet. He asked me if he wanted to drink with his mum, and that I was hesitant. Like, ooh, drinking. That's when the truth comes out. But I was like, okay, sweet, yeah, we will then. And then he came back with them, and he got me a box, and it started off sweet. Like, it was cool. Drinking with the olds, it was different and cool. I liked it. It was, there was 4 of us. Me, him, his mum, and 2 aunties. One was the mum's partner. And it was cool. I liked the vibes, old school music. He was singing, and it was cool. And then I just kept watching him, and I was watching how much he was drinking, and he was just going all out. He had a Bourbon here, he had a beer here, he had a vodka there, and then we were sculling the wine back, and I was just like, damn, like, I better start sobering up. So I did. I started like drinking. I just got me some ice water, and I was like, okay, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm gonna sober up. I'm gonna eat, and I'm just gonna kick back with him, make sure he's okay. And then it was all good. I was just watching him drink too much, and then I was observing, and I was watching the way he was treating his aunties and his mum. He started getting very nasty towards them. Very nasty. Just the things he was saying, like, they'll say something, he's like, "Hi, your shit." Like, the fuck, I'd never treat my elders like that. But it was just starting to get very nasty, and him and his mum ended up in an argument, and she went to bed. She had enough of his shit and went to bed. And then after she went to bed, I was watching he just carry on drinking all four: bourbon, vodka, beer and wine. And I was like, wow. And then he just drank way too much. And I remember him starting to get really abusive towards his aunties. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's not normal. And then all of a sudden, I went in to go fill my water up, came back out, and all I seen was like the two aunties sitting over here on the table. And he came up, walked straight into the middle of them and smashed a beer bottle right in the middle of their face, like on the table. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then I straight away took off upstairs to go tell his mum, like, wake up, he's being a dick, he's starting to fucking smash bottles and pick on them, and what the fuck? And she wouldn't wake up. So I was like, fuck, I gotta go back down there and see if he's okay. By then, the other auntie went to bed. She was like, oh, fuck this, I'm off. The mum's partner, and it was just the three of us. And by then, he was a mess. He was just the drunkest I've ever seen him. And he came inside, and I made him the most beautifulest steak sandwich. I put steak, I put potato salad, a real salad, a bit of tuna pie. Like, I made it with so much love, and like, I was so proud of the sandwich. And I was like, here, babe, here's a big ass handle of water, and here's your sandwich. Just eat it, and then we'll go to bed. Like, you're past your limit. Holy shit. Thank God I sobered up. But, nah, he was just, by then he was beside himself. He's like, okay, so you're going to go wake the kids up. By then it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, okay, you're going to wake the kids up. We're going to go to my dad's. We're not going to stay here anymore. We're not allowed here. Like, just being a dick. And I was like, no, like, first of all, you're not ringing your dad. I took his phone off him, and I was like, you're not ringing him. Fuck that. And then he just started getting ropeable as fuck. And one thing with him is that even though he had full access to my phone, even though every single text that I came through, whether it be from fucking Spark or from my mother, I read out, he never, ever, ever let me touch his phone. And I guess I was just like, sweet, as long as you're happy. And that night, because it was an iPhone, like, I don't need his password to be able to take a photo. And I went to go take a photo, like, because he even used to take his phone to the toilet, he used to take it to the shower, he used to sleep with it under his pillow, like, that was his life. And he was always anti-me, social media, anti-me on my phone. Like, I wasn't even allowed on my phone. He's like, oh, are you busy? Are you talking to someone? And I'm like, just checking the time. But, yeah. And then I took a photo of him while he was laying down on the ground fucking crying and shit, because one thing he always used to preach to me was, I'm always on, even when I'm drunk. I'm always on. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to take a photo of this. I'm going to show you in the morning. Bro, you're not on tonight. You are not on right now. You are wasted. And then I took a photo of him, and then I went to go look down at his phone, and I was like, all I seen was one new notification. And I was like, huh? And then it was Instagram. And I didn't even know he had an Instagram. And I was like, oh, you got a notification from Instagram? And he just fucking lost it. As soon as I said that, it's like all the anger that he was putting out on everyone else that night just all got turned back at me, and he just lost it. And he started just being a cunt, just calling me every single name under the sun, just being a complete little girl. And then the auntie's like, come on, babe, don't put up with that shit. Let's go for a ciggy. And I was like, sweet, we'll go to the shed for a smoke. And then we went out, and I was having my smoke, and then he come out, and he's like, okay, now you're going to get the fuck upstairs. And I'm like, no, I'm going to finish my smoke. And the auntie's like, no, babe, don't listen to him. Don't listen to that shit. And I was like, I'm just going to finish my smoke. I'll be up soon. And he was like, nah, you're going to get up to that fucking room right now. And I was like, I'm going to finish my smoke. And then he's like, get the fuck up to the room. This is your last chance. And I'm like, nearly done. And then all of a sudden, I just felt this fucking arm just wrap around my whole neck, and he just lifted me off the chair and ragdolled me from the neck all the way out to, he was taking me out onto the road. And I stopped him halfway. I was just, I don't know how I managed to say it, but I was like, I can't breathe, you're gonna fucking kill me. And then all of a sudden, he stopped from dragging me from the throat to dragging me from the head. And then he just ragdolled me all the way out to the road while the auntie was like, stop it. And he ended up backhanding her in the head. And then, he just jumped me at the road and told me to fuck off. And I was like, It's 4 o'clock in the morning. My babies are asleep upstairs. I've got nowhere to go. What am I supposed to do? My phone's even up there, and I can't even ring anyone. And the auntie was just crying. She was a mess, and he ended up going inside and locking the door, like, fuck off, get the fuck out, sweet. You know, I was like, fucking auntie. And he even locked her out too. And she was just upset. She was mummy. I was too. And she just held me and was just like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help get you out. I'm going to help you. And then by then the other auntie heard what was happening and came down. And was wondering why the front door was locked. And then she came out and seen everything. And the auntie told her, this is what he did. She didn't even fucking do anything. This is exactly what she did. And she looked at me and she said, oh, babe, all this time we thought it was you. All this time he made it like it was you that was the fucking bad one. Finally, you've got a witness that can actually say that it's not you, babe. Like, I was like, what? Is that what he said? Is that why I feel like I'm not liked? Because you all thought it was me. Like, what the fuck? I was just absolutely gobsmacked. And then I was like, can you help me? Like, can you get me out? I want to leave. I've had enough. And then she was like, yes, babe, I'm going to help you. I just need to get inside and go get my keys. By then, he even locked her out. And then I'm going to get my keys and then we're going to get you out. We're going to get those babies. We're going to go. And I was like, can we call the police? And she's like, no cops. And I was like, okay, but can you help? I was desperate. I just wanted to go. And then he ended up coming back out and was like, if you don't get the fuck upstairs right now, I'm going to go wake my mum up. She's probably going to give you a hiding and all that. I'm like, and the auntie's like, go wake her up. I will tell her. Like, we know what happened. We know what you did. This is not right. Look what you fucking did to her. By then my legs, my pants were ripped. I was bleeding. It was my knee that got mummied up in that. And and he was like, fuck yous all fucking shit. I'm going to go tell my mum then. I'm going to go wake her up. And we were like, go then. Please do it. Please. Maybe she might be able to help us. Because you're just being a fucking idiot locking us all out of the house. Like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, we heard his mother wake up. And she was just furious. Could hear her screaming from upstairs, just absolutely furious. And all I could hear was like, I was the main enemy. It was me. I was all shit. And the two aunties were all lying. We were all picking on her son. He's all picking on my son. He's all fucking lying. Still fucking lying. Oh my God. Instead of just listening to us. He just needed to fucking go to sleep now. But he just went too far. And then he ended up coming back down like, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Now they're all going to fucking fight like that. And so I was like, fine then, I'm going to come upstairs. My babies are asleep up there and she's going crazy. And then I went up and I remember hopping in bed and I was just so sore, so mummy. Physically and just everything. My heart was, mama, I just wanted an apology at least. And all I remember him saying was, oh, I don't feel your love. Oh, you don't love me. Oh, I can't feel you. Why aren't you cuddling me? And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm literally lying here crying because dude, what the fuck? And then that's when his mother walked in the room. And she was just furious because when we were lying in bed, we could hear her arguing with everyone else. Like, the two aunties telling them, he's all picking on my son, he's all lying. She was just furious. And then she came for me. And when she came into that room, she was just so mad. And she was just screaming every name under the sun at me, just like, this is all your fault. You should have never come back. Why did you come back? You're just ruining our lives and all that. Like, and I got up out of bed and stood there. And he just got up out of bed and stood there too, like, just smiling, like. And I'm like looking at him like trying to tell her this is what he did. And she's just not even having a bar at it. He's just standing there smiling. And it just all built up. She was just going at me. So what does Cushla do? Get up and boom! Yes. I hit his mum in the face. And that is what made him really lose it. I just had enough. I did. I know I shouldn't have did that. I know I shouldn't have hit his mum. But I just had enough of being a pushover, being walked all over, being treated like shit. And all I tried to do was love him. And that is when he lost it. She didn't even get it to even react. He literally just leapt over the bed and just completely hoed into me. He wears big booty rings on all 4 fingers. And I remember clearly up in that room is when he split my face open. He just kept boom, 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 boom in that one spot. Just, yeah. Might not be able to see, but yeah. And then I just remember keep coming in and out of consciousness. And then all I could think about was my babies in that room right there. And I was just helpless, and she just stood back and just watched him hold into me. And he did what he did, and then he just grabbed me from up here and ragdolled me all the way downstairs. It was a 2-story house, and I remember getting dragged down the hallway and coming to and seeing my baby's bedroom door and seeing them standing there. And then all of a sudden we're at the top of the stairs, and I know what was going to come. I knew what was coming, and I just said, babe, please don't, babe, don't. Like begging him, and his mum's like, nah, he's not your fucking babe, bitch, he's not your fucking babe. And I was just completely helpless by then, so I just let him do it. And I just remember him smashing me into everything on the way down the stairs, into the cabinets. He just made sure to do his absolute worst. And then I just remember blacking out and coming to in a pool of blood in the carport. I don't remember him dragging me through the kitchen. I don't remember the outside concrete steps. I don't remember anything. I just remember waking up in that pool of blood. And I don't even know how long I had been out for. And all I remember seeing was looking up and seeing him, and he was just standing over me, just silent, absolutely no expression on his face, just blank. So I don't know how I did it, but I somehow managed to get up and jump this fucking fence onto his beloved car and just run. I just ran. And I knew that the 2 neighbours beside us would have heard it all. And for some reason, I just ran in the right direction. I ran straight to this house, and as soon as I got there, she knew I was coming, and she just opened her door and just boom, just wrapped her arms around me. And she was so beautiful, and all I kept saying was, my babies, my babies, my babies. And then I remember going inside of her house, and she sat me down on the bed, and that's when I looked up and seen my reflection, and I just lost it. I was like, I'm dying, I'm gonna die. And now I realised right then and there how much blood I was losing. Everything was covered in blood. I was losing so much blood, and it was just ugly. All I could think about was dying, and I didn't want to die. I didn't want to leave my babies, I don't want to die. And that's all I kept saying when she was on the phone to the ambulance was, I don't want to die, don't let me die, please. Like, fuck, I want to live. I don't want this to be the end of me. And I felt myself getting more dizzy, and I remember the people on the phone, the paramedics, like, don't go to sleep. And I'm like, fuck, I'm falling asleep. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to fall asleep. Like, I was just ropeable. And then I actually remember him outside the window, and he was just like knocking on the window, babe, come. And by then I was like, I wasn't even having a bar of it. I was just like, I'm going to die. What the fuck? I just fully felt like I was going to die. And she told him to fuck off. She was so beautiful. I love her. She's like, fuck off, leave her alone. And then she was just telling them, like, we need an ambulance now. And then the ambulance was too long away. So the police showed up first. And they just took one look at me and was like, nah, we need to get you to the hospital now. We can't wait for no ambulance. You need to go right now. And I was like, fuck, can we go get my kids? Can you go get my kids over there? They're still over there. Like, that's all I kept saying was, my babies. I can't leave them. Don't make me leave my kids. Like, fuck no, I don't want to leave go get them. And they're like, no, we have to worry about you. Your kids aren't going to have a mum. And then I was like, what the, like, that's really what hit me. I was like, fuck. But I'll never forgive myself for leaving them there that night. Ever. But it was either that or me bleed to death in the cop car while they're in there trying to get them. It was like, do or die right now. Get to the hospital. And then as soon as I got there, I made them cover up all the mirrors. I didn't want to look at myself. And it was the detective who came in and took one look at me and was like, wow, can I please take a photo? And I was like, okay. And that's how I ended up getting photos of it. Because fuck, I'm going to stand there and be like, okay, I'm going to take a selfie. No, I didn't even want to look at myself, let alone take photos. But I'm grateful that he did take it for me. And all I kept saying at their hospital was, my babies, please just go get my babies for me. Like, they seen it. They need me. They'll be so scared. They won't even know if I'm dead or alive or what. Like, fucking, what if he hurts them? Or what if anything happens? Those are my babies, mine. And then the nurse, she was so amazing. She just kept trying to, she was just constantly ringing them like, where's those babies? Where's these babies? This mama wants two babies. Like, what the fuck? And so he finally ended up getting arrested. He ended up going on a run for a little bit, they told me, but they found him and arrested him. And they cordoned the house off like it was a murder scene. I remember them telling me. They had to clear the house. My kids, everyone there had to leave, and the police were trying to get my kids, but the mother knew her rights. And because I was in hospital and he was in custody or whatever, she knew that she didn't have to give them to the police because they were in her custody, and the only way that I could get my babies was me getting myself out of hospital, go get them, or my family to pick my babies up. She wasn't handing them over to the police no matter how much I cried and screamed, and they knew they couldn't legally uplift them.
Wow.
It was horrible. Even the nurse was like, what the fuck? That's shit. They did this to you and now she's using your babies against you? And I was like, straight up, like, I just want my kids. This is like, fuck, this is killing me. My kids have never been used against me like that. And that was just like, what the fuck? And then I ended up getting a hold of my family, and I rang my dad, and he was just absolutely vocal. He was only in Oporiki, so it takes like 2 hours for Mopo to Gizzy. Made it there in like not even an hour. He would just pedal to the middle, I'm coming. And I told him, you have to go get my babies, you have to go get them. Like, please hurry up, you need to go get my kids. And then as soon as he got there, he was just absolutely ropeable, talking about his gun and all that, and I'm like, no, just go get the kids. By then he had a big entourage of police officers waiting there to escort him to go pick them up. Like, they were all ready, and they just wanted to get my kids. They were like, this is shit. So yeah, my dad went straight over there, straight went pick them up, and when the mother answered the door, she goes, oh, who are you? And he goes, I'm the koro. And she was like, oh. And then, but he wasn't ugly or anything, because I told him, please don't be ugly, just go get my babies. They don't need any more shit. They don't need a big drum. Just go get them and bring them to me so I can go into surgery, because they wanted to take me into surgery, but I told them, I can't. You're not going to put me under until I know my kids are okay. I'm not going under. So yeah, as soon as they got there, boom, I was able to give them a fat love and make sure they knew I was okay too, and then whisked straight into surgery. But I was able to go to sleep knowing that they were okay. Definitely. And then the injuries were horrific. Not only did he split my whole face open, I lost so much hair from the ragdolling. I had ball patches everywhere. He broke my nose. I had 2 black eyes. One I couldn't open for 2 weeks. The other one took me a week to open. And then my legs, I had bruises all over my body. My leg, he actually gave me I have a scar from a car crash that happened ages ago, but he actually split it open, so I had to get stitches above, to get my scar stitched up again. And then my ankle was also broken and everything. The injuries were horrific. I was bruised from head to toe. I just felt so broken. And it was horrible. I remember I just wanted to get out of town that day. I just wanted to go after surgery. I just wanted to go, and I couldn't. And that day I had to say goodbye to my babies and send them back home. And it was horrible seeing my daughter's face. She was just so broken. She didn't want to leave me. And just everything that she had suffered, I could see it. I could finally see it. I didn't just suffer. She did. And my son, but thank God he's only young and won't remember. But she always will. And that's fucked. Why did I do that, more or less? Why did I allow that for so long? I knew from the beginning it was toxic, but still I kept giving her multiple chances. It got to the point where we were planning our wedding, we were planning to have children. We were planning our future. I was just so in love. Even though I knew that if I married him and spent the rest of my life with him, I wouldn't be able to love my family or see them or be there with them. And I'm the only girl. Like, I'm the rock of my whānau. They need me and I need them. But in order to be with him, I had to choose him. And like he said, it's me. Like, family's always going to be there for you, but it's us that matters the most. It's me and you and our relationship. They'll forgive you in the end. You know, they'll get over it, but it's me that won't. Like, that's what he filled my head up, and yeah, he just made me believe that he was more important than my family. And that's definitely not true. Definitely not, because family's everything and family's forever. And the right person will never, ever, ever make you cut your family off. Ever. They'll love your family like it's their own. Like how I try to love his. Anyway, I have some photos that I've never shown anyone before. And yeah, these are some photos of what the detective seen that night and what I refused to see. I could not look at myself because that shit's scary. My eye was all the way down here. It was horrible. I looked like something of a freaking murder scene. Just absolutely battered. And I know deep down that if I didn't get up and run with that moment that I was lying in the carport, I probably would not have made it out. I would have bled to death on that floor while he just stood there watching me. Or what was he going to do? Was he going to drive me to the hospital and be like, oh, she fell over. Don't tell them. Like, what was it? I'm just so glad that I made it out. For my baby's sake. I can't imagine them growing up without me. Here's a photo of when they took my stitches out. I'm like barely recognizable in all these photos. I don't even recognize myself. I could just and barely open my eye. I don't even recognize myself. But that was me at rock bottom. That's what happens when you decide to keep giving them chance after chance after chance, even when they show you that they're not going to change. All it takes is for a little bit and look what they fucking do. That's not okay. It's not okay to treat people you love like this. I can't even recognize myself. And I strongly believe that he was hoping to ruin my face permanently. Because in his eyes, if he can't have me, no one can. Or what, no one will want me. Of all places. And what's fucked up about it is that I remember him bragging about how his dad punched one of his cousins in the face and split his whole forehead open. And he was bragging about it. And then he went and done the same thing to me. What a man. It took me a whole month to leave the house. I couldn't walk for like 2-3 weeks because I couldn't bend my leg, my ankle, my nose, everything was just broken, and I just felt so lost. And this is how my babies had to see me. This is horrible. Those are the pictures of someone that's gone way too far. And for a long time, especially in that A&E, I just kept blaming myself. I just kept saying, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. I did this, I made him this mad. I shouldn't have punched his mum. It's all my fault, I deserve this. And then it was the nurse, the beautiful nurse, he told me, no, fuck off, you didn't deserve this. He went too far. No matter what you did, he shouldn't have did this. I just remember having bruises over every part of my body. everywhere. I was mummy for months. Took me a good 2 months to heal physically. Everywhere was just from head to toe. It felt like I had been hit from a train. This is what happens, fellas, when you just go too far. When you don't, this is not okay to go this far. Like, yes, us wahinis must make you mad in there, but no, you're much more stronger and powerful than us. Look what yous can do. Yous can really hurt us. And all we want to do is love you and make sure you're okay. And that's mama. For weeks I was so confused. Like, I was crying because I still loved him. And I didn't understand how I could love someone that would do this. Like, why was I crying for this man? He literally did this and left me lying there like I was nothing. How could I? And I know for a fact that if he didn't get remanded into custody and I didn't get put into a hospital bed, that I probably would have went back. Definitely. But it took something like that to actually wake me the fuck up and be like, bitch, the fuck, is that the life you want? Do you want to be a battered woman your whole life? Do you want to be scared? Do you want your babies to grow up thinking that that's okay? Like, hell no. Definitely not. I broke a lot of promises to my babies because I just wanted to give it one more chance. Just one more chance. It's going to be okay, I promise. But I was just blinded from the love that I thought was love. But now I realise, looking back now, it wasn't love. That's not love. You don't do that to the people you love. Not at all. Definitely not.
So what happened with him for that?
Took him 8 months to finally plead guilty. He had it in his mind that he was trying to say that I did this to myself. The 3 witnesses that were there refused to speak for a long time because they just knew what happened. They actually, once he got arrested, they tried hiding the bloody mats, the evidence. They tried hiding it behind the washing machine. They just tried everything they could to cover it up, to try and save his ass, knowing damn well he went too far. Way too far. But still, yeah, they tried covering it up for him. I couldn't believe it. What kind of mother would allow their son to do that to another female? Like, you're supposed to be a mother. A wahine. I would never be okay if I seen another woman being beaten. If I knew her or not, I would not be okay with that. And I definitely would not justify it and try and, cover the evidence or whatever. That's shit. How's he ever going to learn? How's he ever going to learn when they keep justifying his actions? Oh, he did nothing wrong. Oh, it's probably her. So what he used to do was, when we fight, he used to wind me up and then wait till I was actually fully rah, and then he used to sit back and video me. He used to video me when I was at my fucking lowest and most vulnerable. He used to stand there and video me, and he used to say, oh, it's for my own safety, whatever. And then when we come right, I'll be like, can you please delete those videos? Like, you don't need those. That's horrible. I'm screaming and crying, and that's horrible. I don't stand there videoing you when you're being a dick. Or we're arguing. I don't be like, I'm going to video you. But,
how's your daughter?
She's good. She's getting there. It's taken a lot of counselling and all that. She suffered from nightmares for a long time. Heaps of nightmares. She's adamant I'm not allowed another boyfriend ever again. And I'm fine with that. I told her, well, if I ever do, they have to ask you first then, eh? And she's like, yeah, they got to ask me. I'm like, sweet. But yeah, my baby girl. I'm so proud of her. I feel for her. She's witnessed so much for a 6-year-old. I have a lot of making up to do with her, definitely. Definitely. And just being there with her and showing her that not all males are like that. Definitely not. Not all males are evil, and her dad has really stepped up for both my kids and been there for them. I'm grateful for my baby daddy, and I'm showing them like, yeah, there are good people out there. Definitely. I was grateful that this year for the first time she has a male teacher, and she absolutely loves him. He's just so awesome to her, and he's just so cool, the most funniest teacher ever. And it's cool because it's showing her that, yeah, not all males are like that. Yeah, and I'm just trying to like show her in my healing that one of my biggest things was I didn't want to heal and end up being all resentful and ugly and evil. I don't want to be like that. I want to take my pain and use it as strength. I don't want to let it eat me alive and make me into this horrible person. I want to use it as strength, and that's what I'm showing her. Like, just because bad things happen to us doesn't mean we have to turn into bad people.
What would you say to someone that's watching that might be in your position that you were in?
Get out. Run, baby girl. Listen to the police when they tell you don't go back. Let them help you out. Let them help you, because that's their job. And I'll never forget the look that police officer gave when he walked into the hospital room and seen me laying there. He looked so fucking disappointed in me, like, girl, this could have been prevented if you just left me, try to help you get out. And I'll never forget that look. But I had to learn the hard way. Definitely had to learn the hard way. And I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. They compared my case to that girl that got acid thrown all over her face. Yeah. Because he tried to ruin me cosmetically. He tried to take away my beauty and make me ugly, which he obviously failed at, because look at me. I'll always be beautiful, even with this guy. I embrace it now. For a long time I tried to hide it under big bucket hats and sunglasses and hair like this, just trying to hide it away. But I've learned now that it's always going to be there, and I just got to embrace it. Embrace it, definitely. And I just love me, or every part of me, even this guy. I love me for me. Definitely. I remember my daughter saying though, Mum, when's your scratch gonna go away? I'm like, my baby, it's here forever. Few times there, I noticed though that it embarrasses her a little bit. Like when I go to drop her off at school, she's like, oh Mum, can you drop me off over here and I'll walk to my class? And I'm like, okay. So I understand kids can be cruel. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just, I've just learned to accept that this is what happened to me, and it has definitely made me much more stronger, way more stronger. And I love my life now. I love that I'm finally free. I left the relationship with literally nothing, just the clothes that we had, and started my whole life from scratch. I got me a house within a month, a beautiful 3-story. I got me a beautiful car, beautiful job, filled our house up with much better furniture than we had at our other house. I just feel like it'll happen for a reason, and now I'm just reaping in all the blessings that are coming my way now. So much blessings, and just glowing.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your journey with CWK today, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you for listening to me.